Hello fellow Crusaders. In this video I want to talk about the Tyranids. This past week the developers released a small tease video of a Tyranid encounter with some Dark Angels in. We didn't get to see a lot, we just basically saw the start of it. I'm sure they're going to be releasing a full trailer maybe next week, maybe before Christmas, maybe actually for the Christmas, like say, present for us. So I just wanted to make a video about what the Tyranids could offer. And basically my thoughts on how the Tyranids will affect the EC IP. So in this video, basically, let's break it down. I want to talk to people about what having Tyranids in EC means for us all. Grouping against the Tyranids with your friends and stuff like that, guilds. How a Tyranid's going to affect the world in general. What type of Tyranids we'll see. And the best, what kind of rewards we will get from actually killing Tyranids and wiping their encounters. But before I do anything like that, I'm going to show you the teaser video they released on their Twitch, in case some of you chaps haven't saw it. So let's play that first, and then we'll jump into the discussion.
For the Emperor!
And there we have it. That was the Tyranid teaser trailer. Nothing huge, nothing spectacular. It was just basically a small trailer to show us that the Tyranids are here, and yeah, just to show them off. Hopefully next Christmas, this Christmas, we'll maybe get a little Christmassy video with a bigger encounter, but who knows. Okay, let's jump right in and let's talk about what having Tyranids in EC means. Obviously, it means everyone's going to get eaten alive. That's the main factor. But the second thing is that Tyranids in this game, they're more like, I would say they're more like a stop sign for certain races who are going to be dominating. For example, I can see there's a lot of Space Marines at the moment in the EC player base. Well, obviously because EC, Space Marines are one of the most popular races, so it just goes hand in hand with the GWIP at the moment. Now, what the devs have told us is that when we have a certain faction, let's say Space Marines for now, who are dominating other factions across the whole map, the Tyranid encounters will pop up more frequently. This then takes, a big bulk of players away from the front lines, so the other armies can regather and then attack said area on the map. Just for the simple case is that if you leave the Tyranids, they will start affecting your resource rates, stuff like that, your production plants. So it's vital that when Tyranids actually pop up on the map or wherever we're going to encounter them, that you have to deal with them as soon as possible. Which leads into the next factor of grouping against the Tyranids. For me, leading a chapter, this is the biggest thing, going into these type of scenarios is, how many of my friends and how many of my brothers can I actually get into that encounter to deal with the Tyranids. I know at this moment in time, speaking to Brent on Twitter and him answering my question on Twitch, that Tyranids are only going to be a 5-man encounter as of now. They said they will up the numbers, but to up the numbers to what degree? I know you can't have like 100 players versus Tyranids. That's just going to be stupid. Because I don't think the hardware on people's computers will be able to handle it. Because the way I see it, well, the way I'd like it is that the more people you get, the bigger the Tyranid horde becomes. Um, just like in Space Marine with Exterminatus, you had 4 players in there, and for me that was a huge letdown. I loved the game mode, don't get me wrong, I absolutely loved the game mode, but to only dumb it down to 4 people when you had the, they had the option of having 16 people online to play that game. So why not just put 16 people into a Exterminatus mode? The more people you get in that mode, the bigger the Orc War becomes. It would have been so much better, and I think it would have actually increased the the game's lifespan, because that now it's more or less dead. So grouping for me is a huge factor. I want as many as my guild friends I can in there, and just absolutely just going toe to toe with the Tyranids. I just cannot wait to get huge groups and just imagine like standing on like a fortress wall or something, and then you with like a number of your guild members, and this big swarms coming towards you, hive tyrants, stuff like that. It'd be absolutely amazing. So hopefully big groups, semi to kind of big swarms. What they could really do is that they could nerf the swarms down a bit and put more of elite mobs in there. So it takes like 5 guys to take that down this one Tyranid and stuff like that. So it just bounces out a bit. If you don't get a deal with the hive tyrant fast enough, your whole group wipes. So you have a huge chunk of players going towards a certain mob just to deal with that mob. Maybe that's one direction they can go with increasing the groups, but not increasing the horde overall and affecting everyone's hardware. And speaking of effects, how are Tyranids going to affect the actual player world? Are we going to see like Tyranid buildings? Well, I say buildings. Like, imagine if you go back to like one of your munition dumps or something like that. Let's call them munition dumps for now, where a Tyranid horde has taken over. Are we actually going to see like spores or like growing out and stuff like that? I think something like that would be really cool. It gives like the atmosphere of, oh dang, Tyranids have taken over, and we need to sort them out. We need to go in and purge with righteous fire right now. I know people have been speaking about when the actual, this is getting a couple of years down the line after release, when the zones all start opening up into an open world type of scenario. I remember one of the devs speaking about random encounters actually in the world. So you're driving to such and such a base, and all of a sudden Tyranids just burst out of somewhere, and you have to deal with them. Something like that. So maybe you get like swarms just bursting from the clouds and stuff and landing on certain bits of the map, and that certain bit of the map just start becoming all just affected by the Tyranids. It's the same with like the build. Maybe you're driving past a building, all of a sudden the Tyranids burst out the ground, and you start taking over such and such of a wall and such of a building, and you have to like just divert from your current location and just deal with them quick, because if you don't, stuff's just going to build up and build up and build up, and then the whole place that you've been so hard defending and attacking and won with the cost of your lives of your brothers is just taken by some NPCs. Something like that would be so fantastic. There's so much you can do with an NPC faction like the Tyranids, because they have no morals. They have no friendship with anyone. They basically just want to eat you. That's it. They want to eat you. End of story. They want to eat you and move on to the next meal. That's it. So there's so much you can do, especially out in the world. I just cannot wait to like just drive past something that's you can instantly identify. Okay, that bit's Tyranid over there. Let's go and deal with the Tyranids, because we need to deal with them quick before we encounter the Eldar or the Orcs or the Fallen Brothers. Something that turns your head straight away, where you need to deal with it, is definitely needed. And what better to basically turn your head is what mobs they could actually put into the game. For anyone who's familiar with Tyranids, they've got a huge selection of units, you can go. You can actually have a huge selection, anything from the basic troops to the actual elites of the Tyranid armor. From the trailer, thinking of it, I think it was the Hormagaunts we saw with the claws, but then again, you've got the Termagants, the more range ones, Broodlords. Just there's so many. I'll basically start the troops, which I think should be in. Obviously, Hormagaunts and Termagants should be in. For let's say for more the elites, I would like to see Hive Guard. Personally, I've always been a fan of the Hive Guard models. Uh, the Lictors, the Death Leap, yeah, definitely a Death Leaper. Death Leaper is an absolutely such a fantastic model, and they can actually really work in game. Imagine having like a Death Leaper show up, and all your energy has to be put towards like that single mob because he's such like a powered target, and if you don't deal with him in time, you basically your group wipes out. Oh yeah, it'd be amazing. And for the actual elites, no, sorry, not the elites, the actual HQ, a Swarm Lord, just at the end, just when you think everything's hunky dory, everything's happy, you're about to have a happy ending. A Swarm Lord just comes out of nowhere. He's surrounded by Hormagaunts, and you're like, oh crap, this guy's here. We need to deal with this guy right now. And then just a huge battle ensues. You got Hormagaunts coming at you, trying to block you from getting him. You're killing the Hormagaunts. The Swarm Lords just like cleaving people left and right here. All your friends, your brothers are just decapitated, and it's just you and the Swarm Lord in an epic showdown. Just imagine all the mobs you can actually get in this game, and how cool it can be, especially the environments they can actually put the mobs in as well. From the video, it was more like a small like alleyway, like close encounter. Imagine having like that, maybe a bit bigger, but having a Swarm Lord in there where you basically just got like one tunnel, a couple of tunnels around you, and it's basically like a maze, and he's in there hunting you with all his Hormagaunts and Termagants and whatever he's got, and you're like just pinned into a corner. He's like track you down, and you're like just in this room making like a last stand sort of kind of thing, and you just give him the enemy everything you've got. Oh, it'd be so good. I'm squealing like a little girl at the moment because having having something like this in a game of this magnitude is going to be absolutely fantastic. I cannot wait to jump in with the PvE aspect of this game. And this, I think Tyranids are just a first step of the PvP scale in this game. There's other races which I think would be fantastic as PvP combatants. Well, I'm not going to go into that much because this is dedicated to Tyranids, but Necrons for me. Imagine having Necrons in there as a PvE race as well. Oh, I think them and Tyranids, they'd absolutely be fantastic. It's like being stuck between a rock and a hard place. Do you go fight the Necrons or do you go fight the Tyranids? Either way, you're gonna die. So, oh well. Okay, let's move on to what rewards we can actually have from killing these. Oh, again, so much to talk about. So much I want to talk about. I don't want to go ranting on because I know I'll just bore people. But rewards. Firstly, there is the cosmetic side of it. Now, for anyone who's familiar with Space Marines, there's a unit called I think it's the Tyranid Veterans. I think is it Tyranid Veterans? Something like that anyway. And those guys absolutely look amazing. They've got like skin, like they've heads and stuff they've taken off and like stuck on their armor. There's one Dreadnought actually on the Forge World website, which is a veteran of the Tyranid Wars. I think it's an Ultramarine one, and he's got, I actually think it's a Swarm Lord's head or something, like stuck on top of a banner, like right on top of it. Imagine like having your own personal sergeant banner on your backpack, and you've got like this huge Tyranid head just stuck on it because you're like a veteran of these encounters. Same again with like shoulder pads and stuff. You can have to like cut bits off the Tyranid, claws, off him, stick him on your chest, make your guy look absolutely fantastic. Make him look like, you know, if you're constantly fighting in these Tyranid encounters and you're winning, and you know you're taking names, you know you are the best at doing this. When you go on the battlefield, people instantly see you as, wow, that guy knows how to deal with Tyranids. Look at him, you know, and you know the enemies see that and like, wow, this guy, look at him, you know, he knows how to deal with Tyranids. Let's kill him first. Let's show him up. You know, stuff like that. I think it'd be fantastic. Because for me personally, as a Warhammer fan, it's all about the rule of cool. It's all about making your armor look absolutely fantastic. I know a lot of people like to play the game because they want to be the best at killing each other, but for me, I'm all about making my army actually look the best. You know, it's it's making it stand out. It's making it have that little personal touch where, you know, it it, it doesn't just look like everyone else's armor. You know, it's your actual own armor, and having that actually as a character in EC as well would be amazing, especially so with all the Tyranid, all the Tyranid stuff you can get. Um, move, moving on to weapons, maybe I don't know. You kill a lot of Tyranids, you get some kind of bonus with your bolt rounds or whatever weapons you have. Flamers, maybe you unlock like a certain flamer for the Tyranid hive mode, because I know at the moment maybe Tyranids might not Tyranids, maybe flamers might not be that effective in the actual open PvP due to hardware effects and server effects and stuff like that. I don't know how it would work, but maybe if you have it enclosed off in the Tyranid instance kind of stuff, you can add stuff like flamers and stuff like that. So maybe if you know you're really good at taking on the Tyranids, you can use your flamer. You get given a flamer. Okay, you're a reaper of the Tyranid flesh, so here's a flamer to purge them more with, and you know, stuff like that. Armor again. I know we've talked a lot about the cosmetics armor, but maybe, you know, you get improved armor against the Tyranids. There's just so much, so much. Titles, another thing, titles. I don't know if this game's got to have titles. I think they are, if I remember right, because they are going to have an in-depth progression system. So I'm sure having something like titles won't be too much of a bother. But imagine, like, you know, all the titles you can get. You know, Swarm Lord Killer, you know, something something more cool than that. But you know, if you manage to take down like the elite mobs of the game, you get like certain titles for doing it. Maybe if you do it like certain achievements in the game, you take down a Swarm Lord and a ton of Termagants or Hormagants at the same time, or you take down like a Brood Lord or Gene Stealers, you know, Spore Mine Clusters, anything like that. You know, you get little achievements, and these achievements add to like a meta achievement where you can get like a title like Tyranid War Veteran or something like that. So you know, you're on the field, everyone's got these cool titles, and you're just there, stood there with your Tyranid War Veteran, looking all badass, full of Tyranid hides and blood, and yeah, amazing. So yeah, right. I think I'm gonna call it at that. We've had a nice lengthy discussion about the Tyranids. I think it's just nearing up to 20 minutes now. I don't want to be chatting on and going into a direct spiral of just junk, so I think I'll call it at that. What I'll try and do when they show more Tyranid footage, I'll try and make another one of these videos so we can see what's going on, and we can I can have another little discussion about it. Yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. As always, if you got any comments, got any feedback, please leave them in the comment section below. If you've got any questions, leave them there, and I'll try and do my best to answer them. And like and subscribe, you know, if you like what you see, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a nice day. Bye bye.